Hey, what's up, guys? Let me go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started. So let's see, we got see all this stuff set up. Shouldn't take too long. So, all right, let me get you guys a Zoom link for you guys here in the premium. Oh man. All right, let me get this link out real quick. Get that over there. All right, guys, I'm gonna finish up setting up this room real quick. Once it's all set up, we can get started. So I'm just gonna let everybody into the room. All right, let me get this sent out as well. And one last place. All right, solid. So I think all the links are sent out already. Let's see if I got everything on here. All right, well, I'm gonna give some time for people to join in. We just started the room right now, so if you guys have questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and then I can answer any questions that you guys have. I mean, it's pretty much open forum. This session was mainly for Clyde, since Clyde requested it, but and you guys could ask any questions. So if you guys want to type up your questions, or if you want to ask out loud, just let me know so I can unmute you. But for the most part, we'll get started once we get these questions. So I'm just gonna let some people join in. I know some people are just getting a hold of the link right now. So let me just make sure everything is cool, and we should be good to go. Let's see. See, everybody's making their way in right now. All right. Okay, so it's 4:05 right now. We just started, but if you guys do have questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Clyde, I know you had some questions, so if you want to put them in the chat, or if you want to say them out loud, let me know so I can unmute you. But go ahead and ask all your questions, and we can get started. This session's pretty much going to run until I run out of questions. So if you guys don't ask any questions, I'm just going to log off. So if you guys have questions, don't be shy. Just go ahead and ask your questions, and then I can answer whatever you guys need help with. So I'm going to sit around for a bit and just wait for the questions to come in. All right, cool. So Clyde said, so I watched the US 30 snipe and didn't understand it very well. So the US 30 snipe is pretty simple. Let me go into this 10-minute chart over here. So I'm going to take everything off the chart and I'll put the requirements over here. So this is the K2 US 30 10-minute snipe strategy. First requirement, you want to confirm a Wick rejection off K2SR or off any K2 pivot. 2, you want to confirm a Wick rejection off K2SR zone. 3rd, you want to confirm Wick rejection off K2 pivot does not touch candle body. And lastly, confirm direction of momentum using K2 momentum indicator. And that's about it. You can enter on open of the following candle, and then your TP fixed TP stop loss 500 pips. So let me go ahead and see if there's any entries that were available here, and then I'll mark it up for you guys. So let's see, we have nothing here. Let me see if we could find one over here that happened. Okay, so this is a perfect one right here. So for the second requirement, you need to confirm a Wick rejection of K2SR zone. You can technically draw all these zones here. I personally don't, because it's not really necessary. You can kind of just pull it up, because the thing is, if you draw too many zones on here, it's going to get confusing because there's just so many lines on the chart, right? So if you want to, you can draw all these zones here. If not, you can just draw, you know, like what's important. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw what's important here so you guys don't get confused, because there's so many. Or I'll just draw them all first, and then you guys can see what I'm looking for, and then in the future you guys can just focus on what's important, right? Because some people like having a lot of stuff on the chart. Some people don't. I personally don't. I like to have it pretty clean. So if I take everything off the chart right here, this right here. So once we have the zones drawn up, you guys can see how I drew the zones. I turn on the K2SR version 2 indicator, and that's how I got these zones right here, right? If I turn everything off, and I just hide the zones that I drew, you can see that the zones are right there, right? What I did was I opened the rectangle tool and I just drew over these zones so that I can clean it up. Now, if we turn this off, we have perfectly drawn market structure, right? So the reason I do that is just to clean it up, because the thing is, if you have this, if you just have these open, you can see how messy it looks, right? It's just really messy. It's hard to see. So if you draw your zones over it, it cleans things up a whole lot. So for example, right here, we have all this set up now. I'm going to turn on the pivots, turn on the K2 momentum indicator. So looking over here at these requirements, I'm going to rewind to this right here, because this is the first one that actually hit. So looking at this right here, first requirement, you want to confirm a Wick rejection off any K2 pivot. These K2 pivots here are these 4 lines, the green, blue, red, and orange. Those are the different levels of pivots. Basically, you just need to see a Wick reject off any of those pivots. So for example, right here, we have this candle right here rejecting off this pivot, right? And I'll circle it for you right there. So that's going to be requirement number 1. Requirement number 2 is you want to confirm a Wick rejection off of K2SR zone. The zones that I drew over here, these boxes, these are the zones. You can see that this wick right here is projecting off this zone, and it's pushing downwards, right? Because it's projecting off this zone and it's pushing downwards. That's why it's a red candle. So with that said, that's going to be requirement number 2. So requirement number 1 and 2 have been met. The third requirement, you want to confirm the wick rejection off the K2 pivot doesn't touch the candle body. So this pivot right here that it's rejecting off this green one, you just want to make sure that it's not touching the candle body, right? The candle body's down here, the pivot's up here, right? So that's completely fine. That's going to be the third requirement. So we have requirement number 1, rejection off the K2 pivot. Rejection number 2, rejection off the K2SR zone. Confirmation number 3, rejection off the K2 pivot doesn't touch the candle body. All those requirements have been met. The last one, you just want to confirm that price is going in the direction of the K2 momentum, right? So right here, we have a sell signal, so we're only going to be looking for sells. If we had a buy signal over here, we'd only be looking for buys. But since we don't, we have a sell signal. This is why we're looking for a sell right here. So with requirements 1, 2, 3, and 4 met, you can enter on the open of the falling candle. So right here, you enter a short position on the next candle. You set it to a fixed 500 pips, which is 50 points. And once you have that lined up, you just let it run. And there you go, full TP. It's as easy as that. So Clyde, if there's anything else here that is confusing you, let me know, and then I can break down exactly what you need help with. Let's see. Okay, so Clyde said, okay, I just didn't understand 3 and 4 very well, but that makes more sense now. Yeah. So for 3 and 4, you just want to make sure that this wick, this pivot isn't touching the candle body. Because if it's touching the candle body, it's going to indicate that it's not a very strong rejection, right? If it's a strong rejection where the wick like bounces right off the pivot, that's going to indicate that it's probably going to keep pushing down further. So that's why we look for the third requirement there. The fourth requirement, you just want to make sure that you're looking in the direction of the momentum. So like, for example, here, we have a buy signal here, but there's no rejections, right? So there's no buys. For example, here, let me just go to like one of these, because there's a whole bunch of entries right here. Like technically, if you wanted to enter any of these, there's technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's probably like a whole bunch of entries right here. Like a lot of these are a ton of entries, but if you took any of these entries here and you just entered a short position, because the same thing would have happened here as well. So looking at this one right here, it's the same thing. I'll just go back and rewind to whatever candle we're looking at right here. So same situation again right here. You just want to trade in the direction of momentum. So requirement number 1, wick rejection off the pivot right there. Requirement number 2, wick rejection off the K2SR zone, this zone right here. Requirement number 3, make sure that the pivot isn't touching the candle body. So it's rejecting off this red pivot right here, and it's not touching the body. So that's going to be requirement number 3. Requirement number 4, you want to confirm the direction of momentum, like we mentioned before. Even though price is going up right here, momentum is still coming down, right? Because the most recent momentum signal was a sell signal. So with that said, we can enter on the open of the falling candle, which would be right here. With that said, we let it run. It takes some time, but then eventually it follows momentum, right? It comes all the way back down to where it was supposed to go. And that's exactly how it would play out from here. Funny, yeah, it is being recorded. Everything's recorded. It's sent to the YouTube. So if you want to watch it later, everything is because this is live stream right now, Fumi. So you can see exactly where the replays are being held on the YouTube channel. So other than that, I think that's it for Clyde. So Clyde, yeah, if that makes sense, or if you have any other questions, feel free to ask away while we're still on this page. If you're fine with the strategy, I'm gonna move on to the next question. So I'll give it a few seconds right here for Clyde to let me know if he needs any more help with this. If not, then I think we should be good, because I just showed you 2 examples, so it kind of cleared things up for you, I'm sure. If there's still confusion, let me know, because I want to make sure that you actually get this so that you can apply this on your own. Okay, perfect. So we're all done with this right here. Let's move on to the next question. Next question over here, Eric said, before you take a signal in a 3-minute, we must first have a valid 10-minute signal. Something I'm confused, because watching you live, you take 3-minute signals, even though we do not have a valid 10-minute signal. No, Eric, we don't. That's not a requirement for the strategy. So what I do look at is I make sure that it's moving in the same direction on all time frames. There doesn't need to be an entry here. I mean, if you have an entry there, it's gonna increase your odds of actually hitting, because you're just basically scalping within a scalp, right? Because you're scalping on the lower time frame, but there's already an entry on the 10-minute, but it's not a requirement. The requirement that we do use is when they're all moving in the same direction, right? So for example, you said you entered a sell on the 3-minute right here. This is kind of risky to be trading right now on Tokyo Open, because Tokyo just opened at 4 o'clock. So I mean, if you're taking this trade right here, I mean, generally I don't even trade during Asia session. This is like the worst session to trade. But the requirements that you'd be looking for here is you want to confirm that it's moving in the same direction on both the 10-minute and the 1-minute. So for example, here, price is indicating a trend downwards, right? Because price is below the pivots, the trend meter is red. Same with the 3-minute, price is below the pivots, trend meter is red. And same for the 1-minute over here, or let's see if it's the same. Let me turn everything on over here real quick. Yeah, it looks like the same thing for the 1-minute as well. So it looks decent. I mean, it's all going in the same direction. The only problem here is that you literally opened on Tokyo Open. So you took this trade when Tokyo just opened. The thing is, price can shift, because when the market opens, it's just like when the market opens for US. It doesn't need to keep pushing this direction. It can easily just shift to the upside, right? So that's something to keep in mind, because sometimes, this is why you have to pay attention to what sessions you're trading, because even during US session, right? When you trade during US session, we actually wait until we take trades. We don't enter right away. We wait till that breakout's over, and then we wait until it determines what direction it's moving in. So I personally would think this is a risky time to enter because it's 4 o'clock, like literally Tokyo just opened, but everything here kind of points towards the downside. The 10-minute shows a bias downwards, 3-minute same situation, 1-minute same situation. Looking over here at the futures data, the futures data is actually positive. So the fundamentals aren't following the sell there. So this might be a little risky because if the fundamentals are pointing towards the upside, you might be caught on the wrong side of the market. Another one here too is looking at market sentiment. You can see that the market sentiment is starting to shift towards the upside. So this is also a direction that you, I mean, it's right down the middle. It's only 54%, so it's not that bad. But if it's shifting upwards, then it might be a little risky. There's a couple different factors that you want to factor in. But yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, there's no requirement for there to be an entry on the 10-minute. There can be, but there's no requirement for it. Let me scroll up real quick and see if there's anything else that that Eric mentioned. Here, let me see. Eric said, I'm just going to skip all the questions. I'm going to go down to what Eric said here. So Eric said just took the sell on the 3-minute. Eric said, but the last 10-minute signal is bullish, but we are at the bottom of the pivot. So this signal here doesn't mean anything, Eric. The only thing that you would follow through is if there's an actual entry. Meaning if there was a snipe entry. So say, for example, if we had a snipe entry right here. So we're just using this for example, right? Say we had a snipe entry right here, the one that we marked up earlier. Say we have this right here, and say like price went this way, right? Price went up slightly. So price went up right here, but say at this point it was going up and you were on the 3-minute and you saw that there was a sell entry right there, right? But there is also a 10-minute entry that's running. If I saw that right there, then yes, I would take the sell here, because if you look next, it comes all the way back down, right? Because it's just a retracement. So you see the retracement up, and then on the shorter time frames, you would have gotten that sell and you could have caught it from there. I think you might be a little confused about what an actual signal is, right? You're thinking just momentum. You should be looking for actual entry, not just a signal, momentum signal, because you can see right here, even though there's a momentum signal, it still pushes upwards, right? So I wouldn't base it off a signal. I think that might be where some of the confusion is. So if you got a snipe entry, then that'd be great. But if you just have a signal there, I wouldn't necessarily base it off a signal, because the signal doesn't really tell you much unless there's an actual entry there. So yeah, Eric, does that clear it up for you? If there's anything else that you want me to cover regarding different confluences, I can help you with it. It's just let me know if you're still confused about it. But I think you should be fine for the most part. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, if I have an entry on the 10-minute, I'll take scalps on the lower time frame, because I'm still trying to push in the same direction as the the original entry. Yeah, no problem, Eric. So if you have any other questions about this specifically, go ahead and add it to the chat. I'll be waiting a few more seconds. If you don't see anything, then I'll just move on to the next question. All right, moving on to the next question. Next question is from Semtex. So let's see. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so Semtex was also contributing to our analysis for that. He mentioned in that moment, maybe fundamentals are positive, take that 3-minute scalp, definitely. Let's scroll down. Okay, Justin said, can you go over the purpose of marking up Asia highs and Asia lows? Okay, sure. So let me go over here real quick, and I'll probably share on the 3-minute because it's a little more better on the 3-minute. So Eric, it actually looks like a pretty decent entry, the one that you took here. I would just be careful. There's certain times where you guys should be careful. You should be careful on market open, which is about 3 o'clock my time. We'll market reopen from the swap. So that's risky because there might be some gaps. Like for example, right here, see how this big gap happened right here? It was during the swap spread. So if you guys had a position open and your stop loss was too tight, you could have gotten kicked out of this trade. So times to look out for is probably 3 to 4 and London open. So 3 to 4, 10 to 12 London, but this is my time, Pacific time. So I'm not sure it is your guys' time, but it basically be on the open of each session. That's where it becomes risky when you guys are entering trades, because you can see a breakout or sometimes you'll see a gap like this right here. So like, for example, if you enter this for a buy right when market opened, or if you held a position, you would have went into some drawdown of about 250 pips before it came right back up. So let's see if there's anything else here. Gotcha. Okay, perfect, Eric. Yeah, no, it looks fine, Eric. Like, there's nothing wrong with what you did there. It still qualifies as an entry. It's just, you know, if you want to be very careful, like how I trade, that's what I would use. But what you used is something that I've used in the past. I've also used that before, just looking at the signals. But the thing is, I got burnt doing that a couple of times, so that's why I don't really recommend that you do it. It does work sometimes it doesn't. So it's kind of like a 50-50 thing. But no, it definitely looks like it's going to come down. The reason for that is because we confirmed it on the 10-minute, 3-minute, 1-minute. Also confirmed it on the market sentiment plus the futures data over here. So I think you should be fine. I would just be careful, you know, in the future. So going back to Justin's question. So Justin asked, can you go over the purpose of marking up Asia high, London? All right, so let me go to the 3-minute here. I'm gonna delete everything off the chart. And then I'm gonna go and mark up the Asia high. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to New York Open so it can make more sense to you guys. So let me just go back over here to New York Open, which is 5:30 this morning. So 5:30 right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mark up the Asia highs and lows first. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to the previous day, which was August 2nd, or August 3rd, actually, August 3rd. Asia opened around 1500 hours my time, which was right over here. So I'm just going to mark it up right here, and then I'll mark up London Open so that you guys can see what I'm looking for. And I'm actually developing an indicator for this right now. My coder is working on it, so hopefully we can get it to you guys, or I'm going to test it for a bit, and then hopefully I can get it to you guys by hopefully next week, if not the week after. But I'm working on an indicator for this right now so that we don't have to go do this manually. We can just have an indicator to pop up, and then it'll show you, it'll show us exactly what we're looking for. So anyways, looking at this right here, here's Asia session, right, from 1500 hours to midnight. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to mark up the high. This is a high right here. I'm going to color that purple, and then I'm going to mark up the low, which is down here, also purple. So once we have this marked up, I'm going to go over here to London session. So London from midnight up until 5:30. The high over here is going to be right over here. I'm going to color this red. And then this one right down here, color this red. All right, so the purpose for marking this up right here is that this helps in identifying when previous high lows are being triggered, right? Because you can see right here, if you were trading, say you were trading, you know, Asia session, and then you go over to London session, you can see that price comes and retests the area. It comes back down, and then you can see right here, the same exact point. So if I show you right here, this is the Asia low, right? Asia low is tested over here during Asia session. Look what happens when price comes back down. It rejects right off it, and then it comes all the way back up. So these are critical price points to look at. I used to use this a long time ago. I stopped using it for a while, but then thankfully Kenneth, he brought it up to me that he's been using this for rejection points. And it works out perfectly. So you can see right here, double bottom. Perfect, bounced all the way back up. And I'll show you how it moves forward. So this is, so now we're done with the markups. This is now New York session, right? So New York session is right here. And we'll see if price comes back and retests these areas. So price comes up from here. You can see price breaks through the structure, or not the structure, the London low. And then as soon as it breaks below it, see how it respects this area right here? This whole area is respected, right? It just keeps retesting the London low. This is why it's important that I use this. I mean, you guys don't have to use this, but this has been very beneficial for me, because the thing is, if we're looking for sells here, or we're looking for any type of entry. So like, for example, say right here, I'm looking at this and I see a possible buy here or something like that. Right? Just for example, I'm looking for a buy, right? I'm probably not going to want to mess with it if it keeps bouncing around this area, because this is just indicating that this is establishing some sort of rejection point. And this is risky, because the thing is, if you enter a buy here, it can reject right off and come back down. And if you see what happens here, it does that exactly, right? So that's why I use this. Like I mentioned, this is all optional. It's not really required. It's just an extra confirmation for me, because like I mentioned before, we have the strategies that are standalone, right? We have the specific requirements for each strategy, but when you add other confluences to it, it increases your win rate, right? Our win rate here is pretty high already, but obviously I want to be as close to 100% as possible. I rarely lose, but I want to make sure that my odds are even higher if I include things that are also important. So as you can see right here, it respected it perfectly. Let's keep it running. It comes back again. Look the second time it tested it again. It came back to that London low. And what do you know happens? What do you see happens here, right? Bounces off it, comes right back down. Comes up, breaks through it, comes right back down. And you can see that this whole area right here, it's an important area, right? It just keeps, it fails to break above it, and it just keeps bouncing around this area back and forth. So if you had this lined up, you would have, you know exactly why this is happening. Because sometimes you'll see this, like, say for example, you don't have this line here, right? You're like, oh, why does this keep bouncing right here? You can't even see why it's moving like that, right? But if you put the line back up, if I put it back up, you can see, oh, it's bouncing right here because that's the London low. This is why it's important to use different confluences. There's no one way to trade. You can also mix and match whatever things that you know previously, or that what you learned from me. And this definitely helps because you can take this off, makes a huge difference, right? You're like, oh, price is just consolidating right here. It's not consolidating, it's rejecting off that same London low. So this is why it makes a huge difference that you guys have this placed right here. So let me go ahead and push through it again, see if it tested another time. I think that was it for a US session. But you can see how important it was, right, that we had this line right here, because it showed you guys exactly, why this was bouncing off, because it was the London low. And then the same situation here. Once the next session passes, I also do it for US. So for example, if I want to trade during Asia session, I'll have this marked up right here. So you're like, okay, this is the high from US. And I'll color that green. And I keep going through. And then as you can see right here, this is now going to be Asia session. So again, same situation. I'll draw the same high lows for a US session right here, or New York session. And then we can just let it run a little longer and see if it actually does something, right? So if I push through over here, I mean, price barely moves in Asia session. So it's nowhere near the high lows, but you guys can see how important it is, right? Like, this is the reason why I use it. And it makes, it makes a huge difference. My coder right now is working on this indicator for us so that we can have this automatically plotted, so we don't have to go and draw this ourselves. Hopefully he's done with it by today. If not today, maybe the next couple of days. I'll be testing it, so you guys will see me using it on the live, but it's not going to be available to you guys until it's fully tested. So I want to make sure that it's it's 100%. So if you guys are already subscribed to the K² strategies, you guys will have access to it, no problem. And this will just be another tool that you guys can use to increase your win rate. Because that's the main key here. A lot of people don't care about win rate, but the thing with me is I don't like to lose trades, guys. Like, you guys know that. And I'll do anything I can to avoid losing trades. And if you just keep winning trades, whether it be small profit or big profit, it adds up regardless. So you guys got to look at the long-term picture here. So I think I'm done with this. If you guys have any questions regarding this, go ahead and ask away right now. Otherwise, I'll give it a few seconds, and if I don't see anything, I'll move on to the next question. And if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and then I can answer them as well. Because this session is going to run for as long as we have questions. If we don't have any more questions, then we're just going to call it a session. So let me scroll up. I think that's it for these. Scroll up and see what else we have next. All right. Miles said, hey, Shawn, I have until August 18th to make 17,400 to pass my 100K challenge. Wait, 17,000. Oh, because you're in the negative, huh, Miles? I was like, dang, that's a lot, like, to be. So you're in the negative. You only have about 2,600 left in your challenge. So your question is, hey, Shawn, I have until August 18th to make 17,400 past my 100K challenge. What lot sizes do you suggest at this point? I fear over leveraging will cause me to fail, but not sure I have much of a choice. Determine to pass, even if it takes it 10 times. You should just keep using the same lot size, Miles. You have a lot of time, but like you have let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have at least like a week or two, or more than a week, maybe a week and a half, or past 2 weeks. So Miles, the thing is, I know you're nervous and you're scared, but the thing is, you can't change up your game plan just because I think what you should do is reflect on like what did you do wrong, because you should not be that far in the red. Like we didn't even lose any trades for the past 2 weeks. So I think what you should do is go back and reflect on like what you did wrong, and make sure that you don't do that moving forward, because you have like 2 weeks. If you don't make any mistakes and you stop messing up from now until then, you should be completely fine, because we haven't lost any trades. I mean, if you look at our results here, I don't remember losing any trades within the past, I don't know how long. I'm sure those losses were because of trades you took in, or you might have taken them with a different group. And another reminder, guys, I know a lot of you guys are in different groups, which is completely fine. But if you guys blow your accounts and start losing trades in other groups, you guys have to take responsibility for that. Because if you guys just trade, we're trading here in the morning, you guys should be completely fine. Looking over here, we have, let's see, so let's see, for the whole month of July, we had about 35 wins and 3 losses. So it's like pretty impossible for you guys to be even in the negative if you guys only took the trade that I take in the morning. I understand you guys want to take your own trades, but like, we've had this talk before, Miles, like, if you want to pass, you just have to follow directions and take the trade that I take in the morning. If you go off and do your own thing, that's probably where you take your losses. But, for July, we had 35 wins and 3 losses. For June, we had about, let's see, we had 62 wins and 2 losses. So if you look at all of these trades here, I mean, it'd be like virtually impossible for you to be in the negative at all if you took the trades in June or July, unless like the only trades you took were losing trades, which is highly unlikely. So yeah, what I recommend, Miles, is to just stick with the plan, right? Stop going off track and stop trying to do your own thing if like you're not ready for it yet. Your main goal here is to at least get break even, or pass it if you can. So I mean, that's the advice. I mean, I get this question from not just you, Miles, but I get from the same people every time. They keep asking me when they're in a bad spot, like how do they get out of that spot? What I tell them is do what you're supposed to do in the first place, right? Don't try to do too much, because I do see a lot of you guys in the other groups. I'm not going to name any other groups here, but I know there's a lot of you guys are in the other group here that a lot of you guys are familiar with, and if you take trades with them, you might want to ask them for advice, because they put you in that position. So I'm here to help you guys out, but if you guys don't take my advice, there's only so much I can do to help you guys out, right? So let me scroll up and see if there's any other questions here. But yeah, Miles, if you want to pass that, or if you want to make it back to hopefully at least break even, you should just stick to the plan. Take my trades in the morning, and then call it a day. Don't take any trades on your own until you're ready. But definitely don't over leverage, because if you over leverage, you're just going to blow your account even faster. All right, so let me scroll down to the next question. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Looks like I'm halfway through the question, so I want to make sure that there's enough questions here to continue on. So the next question here is from Fahad. So Fahad said, when you say wick rejection off the K2SR zone, do we wait until it exits the no. So Fahad, going back to the 10-minute here, this is so I'll show you an example of a wick rejection. This is an example of a wick rejection. You just need a wick off the zone. So like, for example, we have a zone right here. See how there's a wick pushing off the zone? You see price going up? That's considered a wick rejection. Looking over here, same situation. We have a wick pushing off the zone over here. And I'll turn off the indicator so you can see better. All right, so for example, right here, see how we have the wick pushing off the zone and then it pushes below? That's an example of a wick rejection off the K2SR zone. Same with this right here. This green candle, wick rejection, pushes down further. Same situation here for this red and green candle. See how the wicks is just pushing off the zone? That's a wick rejection right there. If I say something like close outside, like wick rejection plus close outside, then that would be closing outside. But if you're just looking for wick rejection, that's all that you're necessarily looking out for. So let me go on to the next question here. All right, next question is from Delmas. Does Delmas said, yeah, no problem, Miles. Next question is from Delmas. So Delmas is asking, sorry, let me scroll up. Delmas said, what's the name of the higher highs and lower lows indicator? Delmas, it's called pivots high low. So if you just search up pivots high low over here, so just go to It's a built-in indicator. Just go to pivots, or just type in pivots actually. If you go to pivots, it's the pivot points high-low indicator right here. It'll have like the updated thing next to it. So this would be what you're looking for. All right, next question here. Clyde said on the K2 pivot scalp strategy, I don't understand step 2 either. Okay, so I'll go over to the K2 pivots scalp strategy. So I'll go over here on the 3-minute, turn this on, turn this on. I'm going to go and delete all of these zones right here. So step 2, let me show you one example of, trying to find one. Okay, so this is going to be an example of 2A. Oh, here real quick. All right, I'll put the requirements over here real quick. Yeah, no problem, Fahad, and no problem, Delmas. Glad I could help you with that. So let me see. For Clyde's second question, he's asking for these scalp strategies. So I'll put the requirement right here. This is going to be the K2 US 33-minute pivot scalp strategy. So for one, you want to confirm a valid K2 momentum signal. 2A, you want to confirm price is breaking and closing past K2 pivots. Pivots 3 and 4. Or if that's not there, 2B, confirm price is breaking and closing past K2 pivots. Or no, sorry. Confirm price is below pivots for a sell or above for a buy. After that, you can enter on open of the following candle. And lastly, fixed TP stop loss, 250, 500. Okay, so looking at this right here, the first requirement, you want to confirm a valid K2 momentum signal. A valid signal is when you have a sell signal with a red candle within it. Same with a buy. If you have a buy signal with a green candle within it, that'd be a valid momentum signal to the upside. This doesn't necessarily mean momentum's pushing up. This could just be a retracement, right? Because you can see prices coming down. You get valid signals here, but it's just a retracement up before it comes right back down. Retracement up, comes back down. Retracement up, comes back down, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So for this strategy right here, you want to confirm a valid K2 momentum signal. So right here, we have a valid sell signal, right? We have a red sell signal with a red candle within it. So this is going to be a valid K2 momentum sell signal. Second, you want to confirm price is breaking and closing past K2 pivots 3 and 4. The K2 pivots right here are these red and orange lines. Basically, what you're looking for 2A is you want to see when price is above the pivots and then it breaks past it and it closes. So that's 2A right there. Since 2A is met, we don't have to go to 2B, but I'll show you an example for 2B next. So here's 2A. We have confirmation of requirement number 1, valid K2 momentum signal. 2A, you want to confirm price is breaking and closing past K2 pivots 3 and 4. You can see price was above here, it broke past it, and it closed. So that's requirement number 2A. Since we have 2A, we skip 2B, and you move on to step 3. Step 3 is enter on the open of the falling candle. We enter a short position right here, and then we set it up for a fixed TP stop loss of 25.50, which is 250 pips and 500 pips below here. So you let this run, and there you go, full TP right there. So that's gonna be your example of 2A. I'll show you an example of 2B now. So I'll go over here and rewind. So same thing again. We confirm a valid K2 momentum signal, right? Again, right here, a valid sell signal. For 2A, you want to confirm price is breaking and closing past K2 pivots 3 and 4. Right here, price isn't breaking and past, it's not breaking and closing past the pivots because price is already below it, right? So we skip 2A, we go over to 2B. For 2B, you want to confirm price is below pivots for a sell or above for a buy. Right here, we're looking for a sell and price is below the pivots, right? So that's going to confirm 2B. Move on to the third step. Enter on the open of the falling candle. Same situation, 25.50. You let the trade run, and there you go, full TP. So that's pretty much it right there. It's pretty simple. I mean, it might be confusing at first, but once you guys get it, you know, it's pretty easy to cover. Yeah, no problem, Clyde. Glad I could help you with that. I know you had a couple questions. If you have any more, go ahead and put them in the chat. I can answer anything you guys want. If you guys need help with risk management, trade psychology, anything like that, I'm here to help you guys out. You guys have seen everyone's success in K2, right? You guys have seen like the countless profits here. Like literally every day, we haven't had one day where a K2 member hasn't had profit for the entire year. Like I could pull up literally any date you want. If you want me to pull up some random date, we'll go to like April 7th, super random date, right? See on 7th right here, April 7th, all these profits right here. You can see everybody, these are all different people, right? Magneto, 1,800, Edward, 2,066, Lee, up 236. I can go to any of these random people here. CTO over here, 2,150. If you want to go to another random date, you guys can throw out any random date, and I'll show you. There's a date, there's guaranteed profits on that day. January 20th, right? Random date. Nebras over here, up 5,000. Jazz up almost 1,000. I forgot who this was. K. I think this was Kenneth. He's up like 155. CT again, up 4,000, right? So if you guys have any questions or you guys need help with something, people here are killing it every day and you're the only person that's not killing it. There's obviously something that you're doing wrong. And the only way to fix that is if you guys ask me questions and I can help clear up any confusion that you guys have. Because the thing is, if someone else is doing it, there's no reason for you guys not to be doing it as well. So let me see if there's any other questions here. Let me scroll to the chat and see what else I'm missing. All right. Hey, Wesley, how's it going? Clyde's other question. Clyde said, also this morning, my trend meter didn't match what you had on your screen. Even though I changed the time frames, most of it was still blue. So Clyde, if you're here on the 3-minute, one thing to fix that a lot of people don't do properly is go to your trend meter settings right here. Go to settings, go to inputs, and make sure that all of them say same as chart. Sometimes you might be missing like one right here where it's still at like 1 hour. And then that's why it's going to change. See it down here, it turns blue. If you change it to same as chart, the colors change here slightly. Because the thing is, if you're using like a higher time frame, like 4 hour, it's going to be all blue. Because the thing is, if you're looking for the trend on the 3-minute, but you're also looking for the trend on the 4 hour, odds are they're probably not going to match up. It's not going to match up because it's so far apart. If you think about it, look at the 3-minute right here. If you're looking for 4 hours, you're looking at this much of a time frame. So the thing is, it's going to be hard for you to find a matching trend for 4 hours, right? So just make sure that you have that set up right there. It's a simple mistake that a lot of people make, but it's an easy fix. Just go back to your inputs, make sure it says same as chart for all 4 time frames, and then it should be similar to what I have here. Generally, the default settings are intraday settings, so they have it set to, so if I just click default here, you can see it goes back to intraday settings, 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. So that's why you probably see a lot of blue there, because it's set to the intraday settings, but you're on the 3-minute time frame. If you want to have it set to 3-minute only, just change these all to the same as chart, and then that should fix it for you right there. Oh yeah, no. So Clyde said, oh, I thought it was just the first one. Same as chart. Yeah, no, you change all of them and then they should change to the specific time frame. Because the thing is, you can set different time frames here. So you just want to make sure that they're all the same as chart. So I think that's it for that. Let me see if there's anything else over here. Nice. And so Eric over here said that he sets it all to 10-minute, also always following the 10-minute direction. So that's smart too. That's something that you guys can do as well. I used to do that, but the thing is, I look at it manually. So I have the 10-minute here open already. So I don't really need it, but yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, you can do that as well. It's just really up to you. Just keep in mind that the trend meter here is just, it's an addition, right? It's not a requirement. It's just an optional addition to your confluence. So once your requirements here are met using the strategy, you can use this confluence as an extra confluence to confirm the direction of price. Same as you use the fundamentals over here. This is not required, but it's an extra confluence. And same with market sentiment here. There's a lot of different confluences that you guys can use to help increase your win rate and to increase your probability of winning a trade, because you always want to make sure that you're trading in the proper direction. So other than that, let me scroll up and see if there's anything else. Let's see. Clyde said, can you send the websites that you keep switching to? Okay, perfect. So I think Justin just sent them to you already. So yeah, the websites that I changed to would be Here, I'll just put them here again. This is not going to be updated, so don't look at this right now because it's only updated during US session. Right now, it says the last time it was updated was quite some time ago. So just keep that in mind because the market is closed right now, technically. So this is going to be the US 30 daily average. This is going to be, oh wait, sorry. Sorry, I gotta repost this. I posted in the wrong room. All right, so this is US 30 daily average. This is going to be US 30 stock index. This is going to be the 24-hour one. So if you want to trade during off hours, this one's updated all throughout the day. This is going to be US 30 futures index, which is pretty much all day. And this is going to be the market sentiment right here. US 30 market sentiment. All right, so that's it with those right there. Let me scroll up and see if there's any other questions that I missed. Okay, cool. So let me scroll down a little bit. All right, we have one more question here from Jonathan. So guys, this is the last question. If you guys have any questions right here, just make sure to put them in the Zoom chat so I can answer for you. Mitchell, I'm not sure what you're asking for. I'm looking at the YouTube right now. Mitchell said 2B for a buy. I don't see anything. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Mitchell, because we're not looking for a buy here at all. Yeah, if you're referring to 2B right here, it says confirm prices below for a sell or above for a buy. So I'm not sure what you're referring to, Mitchell, but I don't see any buys here or anything. Everything here is still showing a sell. And even if you're looking at requirement number 2, it doesn't fit the requirement right here for this buy. So I'm not sure what you're asking. If you want to be a little more detailed with your question, Mitchell, I can answer it, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. Okay, anyway, so last question right here is for Jonathan. Jonathan's asking, can you explain market volatility in Asia and London session compared to New York session? So the difference is, I mean, just use the country size as an example for you, right? You can use the country size and the power of that country, right? Like what's like the strong, like what country is like the biggest out of all countries? It's the US, right? And so the thing that we're trying to compare here is Asia, their main stock exchange is in Tokyo, right? Japan's a small country. You compare it to the US, US is a huge country and there's a lot more people trading around the world that trade the US market, right? So basically what you want to look at is you want to look at it as, which country has the most traders, like who trades during that time mostly. And that's what causes the volatility. The more people that are trading, the more, market orders that are being executed are going to indicate like the volatility in the market. If you look at Asia sessions from 4 p.m. to 4 p.m. my time. So like right now, 4 p.m. until midnight, I believe, or 10 p.m., something like that. It's like 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. or 4 p.m. till midnight. Just think of afternoon if you're living here on the West Coast in the United States. So Asia session has the slowest volatility because it's such a small country and a lot of other countries are sleeping, right? Like London or Europe, people in Europe are sleeping. So people in Europe aren't going to be trading Asia session. Same with US session. It's in the afternoon, so a lot of people aren't trading during this time unless someone's trading like currencies, right? If you're trading the stock market's closed. So that's why volatility is low during this time, because the US stock market isn't open. These are just futures that are pushing through that run 24 hours, but the market's not open. So that's why Asia session is the slowest. London is the fastest. The only reason London is fast is because it overlaps with US, right? So London runs from, I think it's like from midnight my time until 8 a.m. or something like that. It's around like 6 to 8 a.m. US time. So the thing with London is you can just look at the charts here. So you can see from London, it's kind of slow from like midnight. Let me just get a chart over here. Here, I'll just pull it up on the 10-minute. So let me go to a clean 10-minute chart over here. And I'll just show you the different time zones, right? So I'll show you London. Let's see, we got a tool here real quick. Okay, so date range from the 2nd Okay, so first we'll just start with this right over here. All right. So looking at this right here, we'll go from, I'll just mark up US session. Okay, so US session's here from 5:30 up until 1500, which is over here. Okay, so you can see the volume right here, right? There's 100, actually, I don't know how to read this, but you'll see the number here for the volume. Let me see if I could coordinate this. All right, well, I mean, you'll see the volume right there. It's 135.519. This is, let me see if I could color this actually. I was gonna try to color them differently so that you can see the difference, but it's okay. This is gonna be London right here from midnight up until, it's like, I wanna say it's like 8:30, somewhere like that. All right, so you can see the volume here is not as big as US. US is 135.519. This is only 96.735. And then Asia session is going to be right here from 1500, which is right up here. I'm just going to get the entire move. All right, so you guys can see the huge difference in volatility, right? So this is going to be Asia session right here. Okay, this is Asia session. This is London session. And this is just from yesterday. So you guys can see how recent this was when this happened. So this is literally from last night. Okay, so as you can see right here, there is huge volatility changes. Just looking at this here, Asia session barely moves 21.105. I'm not sure how that volume works. I don't know if that's 21,000 or whatever, but you guys can see the huge number difference, right? This is Asia session. It barely moves. It just goes sideways. This is why I don't trade Asia session. This is why I never recommend you guys trade Asia session, but a lot of you guys still trade it. So this is Asia session right here. This is the high, and then this is the low. So it barely moves. The market goes on for about like 8.5, almost 9 hours, but it barely moves at all. Looking here at London session, you can see that during London session, it doesn't really move that fast, but as we get closer to New York right here, it starts to pick up, right? It's kind of slow. And then once it hits like 5 o'clock, it starts to push really quickly. And then as you enter US session, it overlaps. So this is why London to US overlap is like the busiest time. This is why we scalp during this time right here, right? We scalp from 6:30 until 8. You guys can see this is the only time that I trade. See this little like dark area right here where you see the big move? I only trade from 6 to 8 because this is why. You get volatility. You can see consolidation, slight pickup, breakouts, consolidation, right? So this is why I only trade during this period right here. A lot of people wonder why I trade during this time because it's clear, right? See, you guys see the volatility right here? You guys can easily get in and out of trades right here within this period. Still, you guys want to trade all day. It doesn't make sense to trade all day. You get caught in these trades right here. I mean, obviously you can make profits, but the odds of you losing trades and hitting like, bad entries are going to happen throughout Asia session. And then if you hold on to it until London session, you might be stuck in a reversal because you can see prices going sideways, bounce back and forth. And then when you least expect it, it comes all the way back down. And then I take my first trade at 6:30, the breakout, which is right over here, which is perfect, right? We catch that nice drop. You see the retracement, and then it goes to mid-market reversal, right back down. So, now that I've marked it up for you, you guys can kind of understand why I trade during that time and why I stopped trading after 8, because after 8, that's when market starts to move kind of funky again. It goes to consolidation, or it goes for a range, continued range, breakout, back into the range. You guys don't want to trade when it's ranging because it's going to be hard for you guys to like catch any moves during this. Like it's hard to catch moves during this time, but it's also risky because you might get caught on the wrong side. If it's ranging, it's just charging up for a breakout. And hopefully this makes sense why I only trade during that time, and maybe it'll influence you guys to follow what I'm doing. This is why I have such a high win rate, because I only trade when the market's actually moving. I don't trade when the market's going sideways. So other than that, Gene wants to, can you take a demo live trade now? I don't think I can, Gene Wan. Let me see. No, it's still under maintenance. So I can't even open the demo on TradingView, but I'm not sure why would you want me to? Because you know how to take trades, Gene Vaughn, so I'm not sure why you'd want me to take a demo trade on the live, but it's just not working for me right here. I mean, I tried to do it earlier, it didn't work, still not working. But yeah, so there's my explanation as to, you know, why I trade during these time periods, and this is the difference that you guys can see between Asia, London, and New York. That's why I only trade during this time, because this is the overlap between London to Asia. I mean, London to New York. So let me see if there's any other questions here. I think that's it for now. Let me see if there's anything else. Let's see, Clyde said, thanks, Shawn. This has really cleared up a lot of things for me. I'm going to apply this to my paper trading first, make sure I truly get it, and hopefully I can start next week with real money. No, definitely, Clyde. You know, there's no rush, guys, right? A lot of people here don't even want to practice and they want to hop right into the live, and then they end up blowing their account and then wonder why they blew their account because they didn't understand how to do this stuff. So let's see. Let me check this real quick. Oops, let me do that in all caps. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, let's see. Hassan's asking, what strategy videos I need to go over. Also, for some reason, I couldn't ask questions in your live. Oh, man. Sorry, guys, I'm cracking because Lamar asked me earlier what time am I going live. I said 4 p.m. And then he asked me who's doing the Zoom, and I said I'm doing the Zoom, and he said when? Now. Yeah, that's funny. We always get a lot of funny people in the group that always crack me up. But yeah, no. Let me see if Lamar comes into here. All right. So let me send this over to Hassan real quick. See if he's on here. All right, cool. So I think that's it for now. If you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to sorry, let me get this message. One of our other members right now, he's okay. All right, cool. So I think that's it for now. If you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to put your questions in the chat, and then I can Gene Vaughn said it would be lit to show them. What would you want me to show, Gene Vaughn? Because the thing is, I trade live every. I mean, you know that I trade live every morning. It doesn't make a difference if we're trading paper trading or if we're doing live. I don't trade Asia sessions, so it wouldn't make sense for me to even trade demo right now because I don't trade during this time. It's like the worst time to trade. Nice. Tristan said, going to start 100K challenge next week. Any tips? So what I would recommend is you just, if you really want to pass the challenge and you want to like almost have a guarantee, what I recommend is to just take the trades that I take in the morning. What I notice with a lot of people is they take trades with me in the morning, they make a lot of profits, and then they start trading in the afternoon, they lose everything. So what I would recommend is to just, unless you're like, you're pretty positive, Tristan, that you can trade on your own, then, you know, go ahead and trade on your own. But if you're not, then just take whatever I'm taking in the morning, because that's going to, you know, that's going to obviously give you an almost guarantee that you're going to pass. Because, you know, looking at our win rate over here, you know, as long as you take every trade and use proper risk, you should be completely fine. Because like our win rate for like the entire year so far, or even just the recent months. So like for July, we had 30, or no, sorry, is it indices? Yeah, so for July, we had 35 wins and 3 losses for the entire month of July. For June, we had 62 wins and 2 losses. And then for May, we had 51 wins and 2 losses. And these are the trades that are called during the live session. So if you just take the trades that we do during the live session, I mean, you should be completely fine. The only time I see people mess up is when they take trades from other groups, or if they trade in Asia session, which is like the worst session. You can see right here, obviously it's the worst session. It's going sideways. So that's probably the best. That's probably the best advice I could give you if you're just looking to pass. Otherwise, my other word of advice would be to use proper risk. So if you're using a 100K challenge, depending on what trade you're taking, if you're only taking the trade that I'm taking on the live in the morning, which is basically all of the scalp entries, I'd recommend you only use a 3 to 5 lot size, 5 being the max lot, 3 being, conservative lot size for you. So that's, and the reason I say that's because, so if you're on the 500K, I think your target goal is like 10K, right? So if you take a 3 lot times 500, each win would be about 1,500, right? So if you're going for 10,000, you divide that by 1,500, you only need to win 6.6 trades, right? So you have 6.6 winning trades from me, about 6 or 7 trades. If you could do that and not take any losses, you've already passed your challenge. That's, it's that simple. If you want to do a 5 lot, it's 5 times 500. That's going to be 250, 2,500 profit per win. So if you're doing 10,000, for your goal divided by 2,500, you only need to win 4 trades. So if you could take 4 good trades from me, which, it's going to happen. It's like we have, if I show you the results from last week. So if you took, let's see, 500 pips, 500 pips, 500 pips. So like last week, if you took my trade on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or, if you took any 4 trades from last week, you only need 4 trades to win, right? So if you took those trades, you would have won already. You would have passed your challenge. And that's the problem with a lot of people. They don't see the bigger picture. They try to go and do too much. They want to take like 100 trades a day. I only take about 1 or 3 trades a day, but they all hit. So that's, that'd be my word of advice. Like right now, to you, you're probably thinking, oh, that's easy. But when you actually start trading, you're going to be like a lot of other people where they just end up overdoing it, and they end up taking like 10 or 20 trades a day. They end up making profit with me in the morning, then they lose it all at night. So that's, that's probably the best advice that I can give you. Just follow directions and don't over trade and don't over leverage. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Yeah, no problem, Tristan. You should be fine. Good luck to you. As long as you follow directions and do things properly, don't over leverage, you should be completely fine. I think you should be fine because we rarely lose trades here. So even if you're to take the smaller moves like the 1 minute and 3 minute, you should be fine because they'll add up over time. Let me scroll up real quick. Delmas is asking, what's your recommended lot size for a 50K account? So if you're using a 50K account, we'll just divide that by 2. So 5 lot divided by 2. You should probably use between a 1 to, between a 1 and a 2.5, Delmas. And like I mentioned before, you just do basic math for this as well. So like 2.5 times 500, you're gonna be risking about 1,250 per trade. Let me check what the max loss is for the 50K. Pull up FTMO for 1 second. Let's see. All right, so here's FTMO right here. So yeah, if you're doing a 50K, your max loss is 2,500, right? So your max lot size should be a 2.5. So if you lose one of these trades, you're only losing 1,250. So if you lose that, you should be well away from your daily loss. If you use a 1 lot, 1 times 500, you're only risking 500, right? So you should never go above a 2.5. Even if you want to do a 2 lot, 2 times 500, you're only risking 1,000. So your sweet spot's going to be around 2 lots. If you want to be conservative, 1 lot. If you want to be risky, 2.5. So it just depends on your risk tolerance, but you should never go over 2.5. So right here, for example, your profit target is 5,000, right? So 5,000 divided by 5,000 divided by 1,250. You just need 4 wins. You get 4 wins and you pass your challenge. That's pretty much it. Ian's asking, how do I join the premium? So Ian, if you want to join the premium, just go on the website right here, k2trades.com. I'll just put it right here real quick. I'm gonna tag you in it. Yeah, Ian. So there's the website right there. If you want access to just the live sessions with the Zooms right here that we're on, just click on K2 Premium Signals. If you want access to the actual indicators right here so that you can apply all these strategies on your own like everyone else, click on K2 Strategy course right here. So there are two different options here. If you want just access to the live sessions, this would be it. If you want access to the indicators to maximize your profit potential, click on K2 Trading course right here, K2 Trading Strategy course. And that's pretty much how everyone here locks in like all those profits. So if you, I don't know how long you've been here before, Ian, but looking at all these profits right here that everyone has locked in, like Rick locked in 4,000, Casey locked in 5,000, Joshua locked in about 2,000, Larkin locked in about 1,000. So all these people here have access to the indicator. So they do it. They take more trades than I do. My profits for today, I've only locked in. I locked in about 4,165, and then on this account I locked in 3,885. This is because I'm very conservative. I only take about 3 trades, while everyone else here takes quite a bit more. So I took 3 trades today on the live, which you could have taken and made profit off. Looking over here, so Rick took about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 trades, but he made 4,000 as well. Casey over here took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 trades, but he made 5,000 more than me. So it just depends on your preference. But yeah, you can sign up on the website. Let's see. So another question here, Gene Bond said, if you drop at 10 lot and the trade goes, bro, I don't think you really understand the whole concept of trading, Gene Bond, because you're asking how many seconds should you stay in trade. There's no time limit for how long you should stay in a trade. You stay in a trade for as long as your risk provides. Like if you have a stop loss set, that's how long you hold it for. You don't hold it for like, there's no 1 second, 2 second, 5 second limit. You hold it until price reaches any of those price points. So I think that's why you haven't been consistent, Gene Vaughn. Like, the reason why you haven't been consistent is because you haven't really learned how to really trade. You kind of just play it by ear. You kind of take a trade and you're like, oh, I'm gonna hold it for this long. But in reality, you should be actually using actual strategy. So second should never matter. I know we've talked about this before, but you have to enter a trade with a strategy in mind. You can't just enter a trade. You can't just enter right here. Like say you want to enter here for a buy and say I'm gonna hold it for like 10 seconds, right? That's so 10 seconds could mean a huge difference. Like price can go, in the next 10 seconds, price could go way up here, it could go like way down here. There's no time limit between your trades here. That's why you have to use actual strategy. And I think that's why you haven't been very consistent long term, because I know we've been talking for like a couple months now, and you're still not at the level that we anticipated you to be at, because you haven't followed any of the actual strategies that we apply. And the thing with the 10 lot is you shouldn't be using a 10 lot unless your account allows for it, right? If you're on like a 50K account, you should not be using a 10 lot. You blow your account in like 1 second. If you're using a 100K account, you should still not be using a 10 lot, because you could blow your account even quicker. So yeah, Jima, I think you got to go back and just reconnect with what's important, and don't treat this like you're gambling, because if you keep treating like you're gambling, you're just gonna keep blowing accounts, and you're never gonna be consistently profitable. So just word of advice to you, Jima, because I know we've been talking about trading for a while now. I want to make sure that you're actually trading and you're not just gambling. Other than that, let me see if I'm missing anything over here. And guys, like I'm never like, whenever I joke around with people here, this is because I've been talking to the members. Like I have actual connection with members here. I don't just like teach, like, we're actually friends here. So when I talk to people here, I'm not like talking down on anybody. It's just like, I want the best for everybody. And I'm literally just being sarcastic with some people here. If you guys are new here and you guys don't understand that, I'm just playing around with you guys. Let me see if there's anything else here that I missed. The Clyde said, did you say TradeStation was the one I used to trade US 30? Clyde, I mean, it depends. I gave you a bunch of different options. So there's a ton of different options that you can choose from. If you want to trade directly on TradingView, then TradeStation would be your best option. If you want to trade with a funded account, you should use FTMO. If you want to trade with a unregulated broker, then it'd be Hugo's way. If you go back to the email, just pull back the email, Clyde, because I gave you like a bunch of options. There's a lot of different options for you to use there. So it's just really up to your preference which you want to use. But TradeStation was one of them if you plan on trading directly on TradingView. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you know how you want to trade, how much deposit you want to use, stuff like that, then I can probably point you in the, I mean, I already pointed you. If you want to go back and look at the Clyde TradeStation's right here. So if you go to trading panel, it's right there, TradeStation. So it does allow it because it's literally right here on the thing. Because these are the brokers you can use. I mean, there's more brokers in this. So these are all the brokers that are available, but TradeStation is like right there. It's like one of the top options. So, I mean, there's other options here that you can use. Yeah, you can't trade US 30. You have to trade, if you go back to the email, Clyde, TradeStation is a futures broker. You would trade YM. You would trade YM or MYM, which is the same thing. It's just a future. So as you can see here, this is YM. See how the candles look right here? You go back, the same exact thing. Yeah, because you have to go to YM, Clyde. Clyde, say I connected account. I tried pulling that up too. So you have to use the one that's actually connected to your broker. So find which one is connected, because I don't use TradeStation. Yeah, I know. I mentioned to you, Clyde, that I don't use TradeStation. That's why I was telling you, if you want to trade directly on here, you have to go to TradeStation and see what symbol, because there's different YMs here. So if you're using one of these, there is a couple here. Did you try all of these, Clyde? Because there's like 6 different options here. I'm not sure which YM did you look up. You should probably go and ask TradeStation for their actual symbol. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't work for TradeStation, so I'm not TradeStation. So you'd probably be better off just asking them, like ask them if you want to trade US 30, ask them what's the symbol, because each broker has their own symbol. Like for example, here, US 30, it's different for like different brokers here. Like if you look at other people's accounts, there's US 30.cash, there's just US 30. I mean, each broker has a different symbol. So you have to actually ask the broker, because I'm not a broker, so I don't have the answer to everything. Or you can just Google it. I mean, there's, you know, not just to you, but like to everyone here, if you guys have a basic question, there's a lot of different outlets you guys can look at. You guys can Google it, you guys can YouTube it, you guys can, because you know, I have answers to a lot of questions, but I don't have answers to every single question. Like I'm not a broker, I don't know every single thing about trading. But you know, obviously I'll try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. So other than that, let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, no, it's fine, Clyde. I mean, you asked, I mean, yeah, because I don't have, you're fine. It's just I don't have the answer to your question, because there's, you know, there's different symbols here. I mean, if you type in US 30, there's like a whole bunch of different brokers here. I'm not sure what they use because I don't use TradeStation. Like I mentioned on the email too, I don't use TradeStation. I've never used them before. I was going to use them before, but I was going to, you know, I ended up using FTMO. So there's different symbols here, but your best bet would to just go to TradeStation and ask their support, because they have a pretty quick support. You know, if you just go on the website, I could even go on the website myself. Let's see. TradeStation.com. See, you just go here and then you can literally just message them. Well, their chat's offline right now, but you can go to contact them, and there's a ton of different ways to contact them. So it looks like they're closed right now actually no, they have live chat. So you can call them or whatever works for you. That would probably help you, because they do have the symbol here. It's trading products. You go to futures. Yeah, so they do have indexes here, which is the E-mini or the, I mean, it just depends on what you want to trade, but you have to go and just ask them yourself, because I'm not TradeStation, I wouldn't know. And that's how you'd figure it out. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the questions. Do you guys have any other questions here? So if you guys have questions, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, you know, we're going to be cutting this session over. So if you guys have anything, I can help answer your questions. Otherwise, you know, this might be it for the session. We've been on this for a little over an hour now, which is fine. Let's see. Miles said, make no mistake about it. I definitely rock with you and I'm not going anywhere. I'll always tell people about you because you're a great mentor and a beast of a trader. I take full ownership of my mistakes. Most of the time, my issue is trying to make more money after I've won with you, thinking that I reach my daily goal. Yeah, no, exactly, Miles. And that here, so this is what, if you guys are in the chat in the Zoom, Miles just basically explained, his whole situation. And this is exactly what I was talking about before. I mentioned that a lot of you guys make profit with me in the morning, and then you guys get greedy and you guys try to trade on your own after, which is fine. It's good to trade on your own, but if you want to trade on your own, maybe use a smaller lot size, especially if you're not, if you're not fully confident. So like I was saying earlier, Miles here just confirmed that he makes money with me in the morning, but then he tries to make more money after. But he needs to like focus on his goal, right? So here's like one thing that you guys should look at. So say for example, if you're doing an FTMO challenge, your goal is so like I was saying earlier, you take a 5 lot on a 100K account, right? So 5 lot times 500. You have a profit potential of 2,500. Your goal to pass FTMO is 10,000, right? 10,000 divided by 2,500. You only need 4 wins to win, right? So if you could just be patient and you guys can, and you guys just take trades that are absolutely sure going to hit, the trades that I call, then you can literally pass your challenge within 4 tries. The thing with a lot of people is they try to pass their challenge within a day or two. And this is the same, this goes back to what I was talking about with like FTMO and Funding Talent. They're 2 different companies and they cater to 2 different people. Funding Talent generally caters to people that aren't good at trading. They pretty much gear themselves to recruit people that suck at trading because they make money off your challenge fees. With FTMO, they don't have to change anything, right? They have a 70-30 split. They've had that split since I joined them. They have a 10-day trading minimum because they want you to be consistent and use risk management properly. The thing with Funding Talent is they don't care if you gamble. If you gamble and you pass your challenge within 2 days, that's completely fine. But I've seen what happens with a lot of people who pass their challenge in 2 days. They end up blowing their funded account like a day later because they aren't good with risk management and they're just gambling. So back to what I was saying before, like in the group, there's 2 different traders that each company caters to, right? I've been with FTMO for over a year. They never had issues with any of their trading, with any of their payouts and stuff like that while I've been around. So that's why I stick with FTMO. The thing with Funding Talent is they try to lure you guys in. They tell you guys they have a 90-10 split. Like, if you guys see a 90-10 split and you guys are looking at gambling, you're trying to make a quick buck, you're going to go for the 90-10 split, right? You'd rather go for a risky company than go with something that's actually established. So, for some of you guys that are with Funding Talent, that's fine. You guys can stay with them. But for me, I'll never recommend Funding Talent to anybody. I'm always going to recommend FTMO. So I think that's it for now. I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I'll sit around for a few more minutes, and then I will answer your questions. If not, we'll probably just call it a day. So let's hang around for a bit and see if I missed anything. Side convos right here. All right, cool. So yeah, other than that, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I'm open to have these sessions whenever you guys want them. It's just you guys just have to ask for it, right? Because I'll make time for you guys. If you guys want me to sit in on a session like this and answer all your questions, I can sit in on it. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out on Telegram. And if you guys aren't there, then I'll catch you guys here tomorrow morning for the next live session. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. And if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like the stream on your way out, that'll definitely help us continue to grow this channel and find other people who need help with trading, because I'm here to help you guys out. You guys have seen everyone's success here. I'm here to make sure that all you guys are as successful as everyone else. Like I mentioned here, you can go back any day this entire year and you'll see how much profit has been made by every member here. So I just want to make sure that you guys are all on the same level. I want to make sure that you guys are all getting everything together, because if they're, who's here, who's consistent, right? Like Rick's consistent, Casey's consistent. You see the same names every day: Joshua, Larkin, Jeff, Josh, Ensong, Roman. If you look at the profits every day, it's always the same people. So I want to make sure that if you're not on this list, I want to make sure that you're on this list the next time. you know, I'm here to help you guys out. If you guys need any help, I'm here to help you. You guys just have to ask. Don't be shy. You know, I'm your guys' friend. I'm not here like to grill you guys for making mistakes. I'm here to make sure that you guys actually get this stuff, and so that you guys can be on this list of profits too. Because you know, we have a ton of people here. Like before, we could post like one post of profits. Now I have to post like 2 or 3 waves of profits because we have like hundreds of profits made by hundreds of people every single day. So yeah, if you guys aren't on this list yet, you know, you guys will be here eventually. You guys just, you need to reach out, make sure that I can help you guys out, reach that level. So other than that, guys, I'll catch you guys for the next live session tomorrow morning. If you guys want another mentoring session in the future, just ask me, and then we'll set it up so that everyone can get knowledge.